make a lot of offensive jokes. I don't anymore. I don't blame my past self for this, but I like myself more and feel like a more full human being and creator today. James Gunn, July 19, 2018. Welcome to the Pixel Pop Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Toby. This fortnight, I'm joined with the I better be nice to him or I can read my own bloody news, Ethan.
Yeah, that's right. You better be fucking nice to me.
And with Lucas being away in America and Jesse snowed under with work, we have a special guest this fortnight, Dan from DZ3 Productions, or podcasts. Am I right there?
Yeah, a bit of both. But thank you very much for having me on, mate. It's much appreciated.
So your podcast, you deal with movies as well, don't you, Dan? And then you also do some games and other things?
Yeah, movies, games, and a lot of mixed martial arts because that's what everyone was into, and then nobody wants to do them. There's those games now.
Well, I guess I can kind of relate. Games is pretty awesome. But we'll put a link in the description below, so if you're interested in checking out Dan's stuff, you'll be able to follow that link and do so. This fortnight, we obviously got a lot of news to get through, as always. There's a lot of trailers because we had the San Diego Comic-Con, so a lot of good stuff came out of that. Probably not as much as we've seen in previous years, but still pretty tasty. Then we're going to dip slightly into Castle Rock, Abrams and Stephen King's new Hulu series. That's been interesting. That'll be spoiler-free. And then the topic of conversation this fortnight will be James Gunn, and I guess the elephant in the room, and what's been happening recently with him and Disney. So before we get into all that, let's start off with the news. Please take us away, Ethan.
First bit of news we got is it seems as though Walmart is starting up their own streaming service. Now, I don't think there's a lot of information on how exactly it's going to plan out, but apparently it's going to cost $8 a month, and yeah, that's all we know really at the moment. It seems like they just want to try and cash in since streaming services are the new big thing with you got Netflix and Amazon, and the Disney's coming out with their one, and now DC has their one, which we'll touch on soon as well.
That doesn't surprise me. Have you seen Alien 4?
Alien Resurrection?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a throwaway line in that says that Weyland-Yutani was bought out by Walmart.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What are they going to offer?
It's a terrible movie.
I don't know. I would suspect maybe sort of more... I mean, I think Prime's already got a lot of the older budget stuff, but maybe that's sort of their angle. I don't... Because details are really scarce at this stage, but I mean... Walmart's pretty big in America. They got a fair bit of money. So
Walmart's massive, and they're like, oh yeah, welcome to our shops. Also, please buy our streaming service.
I kind of get that sneaky feeling that they've obviously got loyalty cards and other things, and they may end up just sort of doing, that's a promotion that's they can do that some of the others can't do, is they'll do sort of, spend $50 in the store and get a free month or two of their streaming service. So
yeah,
could be interesting. I guess it's just a case of going to be wait and see for more news at this stage, but I'm not surprised.
Walmart already sells, they have DVDs and stuff like that and Blu-rays. So maybe it's just going to be that sort of thing where they then have the rights to sell it in store, but also have it online as well, maybe.
Doesn't JB Hi-Fi do like an audio streaming service, like iTunes kind of thing?
I've got no idea.
I'm pretty sure they did or were going to, or
okay, here's something. In 2010, Walmart acquired Vudu, which offers thousands of streaming titles to buy or rent.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, okay. So you're walking into Walmart. Welcome to Walmart. We have guns, we have shopping, we have clothes, now we have streaming.
Yeah, that sounds like Walmart.
I just started up Vudu right now that Walmart owns, and Avengers Infinity War's on there in 4K. Ready Player One 4K.
Okay.
Really?
Tomb Raider 4K, Black Panther 4K, Pacific Rim. They have all major blockbusters all there already.
I know Infinity War released digitally today. That's not on. Is that on Australian Netflix yet?
Oh no, it won't be on Australian Netflix for a while.
Right.
Yeah, we're so far behind with that Netflix. It's not funny.
Still, that's interesting. Okay, well maybe they are going to be a contender.
But this Vudu, you own it. I think you can own it through them and then stream it through it. And there's also a rent option on here as well.
Okay, so it's sort of more like a digital library.
Yeah, I think it's what. Yeah,
sort of like say Steam or something with your video games.
But
almost.
If it's a digital library, maybe the subscription that Walmart's doing is $8 a month. You don't have to rent or buy these. You just get an access to the entire catalog to stream it, which could be what it is.
Interesting.
I did overcome to Australia, but it's an American thing. But
yeah. So it's like first user sign up is 99 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next we have Spider-Man: Far From Home cast Numenakar as a character called Dimitri, and everyone's speculating that he's going to be Chameleon.
Yeah.
which is another character with Jake Gyllenhaal, who hasn't been confirmed as Mysterio, but he has been seen in London where they're currently filming it. So seems like he quite possibly is. That'll give us 4 out of the 6 people we need for a Sinister Six, if you include...
Which was something they tried to really force with Amazing Spider-Man 2, didn't they?
Yeah. They tried to do it a lot. Yeah.
And it just sort of fell on its face.
Yeah.
A little, yeah.
So now we've got Michael Keaton as Vulture. We'll have Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. We had Michael Mando as Scorpion, although he wasn't Scorpion yet. He was just the human version in Homecoming. And now we have Numenor possibly Chameleon. So we just need 2 more to get a full Sinister Six going.
Yeah.
That's
well,
awesome.
I mean, you probably want to save at least 1 or 2 of them. You know, like you're going to want some reveal surprises.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I don't know about... How do you feel about Spider-Man, though, like, not being in New York? I mean, I know in the comics he does move around now and again, but he's predominantly based in New York.
He's always... I don't know. The thing from what Kevin Feige said is that him and his friends have gone to Europe.
Yeah, I know why in the context of the story.
But to me, like... Yeah, but it's... I don't know. I mean, it'd be
the idea of...
a fresh... They want to do new things with Spider-Man, so not having him stick around in New York or something, I guess.
I don't know. But it just, like... If it's the same movie, but instead he's going up the Eiffel Tower, that to me is just a bit sort of wanky. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah,
I don't want to just see a Xerox copy and it's the same movie, but now we're just to make it fresh. We're in Paris or London, you know, because you can imagine all the cliche crap that could just fly. Oh, now he's hanging off Big Ben. It's like, come on, guys, you know, let's.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
I wouldn't be surprised if they'll do that. You know, they'll do that.
I hope they don't.
Right, moving on to some trailers we had a trailer for Robin Hood.
Yeah, okay, so next.
Looks like, yeah.
Did you see that?
It's gonna just be like that King Arthur movie that Guy Ritchie did with Charlie Hunnam. It's just gonna bomb like that, dude.
It looks terrible. And I can't remember what the name of the actor is. He was in Kingsman 1 and 2.
Taron Egerton?
Yeah, like he was good in those, although I think Kingsman 2 was a bit, to be honest. But the first one was really good. But he seems to be playing the same character almost.
Yeah,
like it's James Bond played by a Shav, and now it's Robin Hood played by a Shav, and it's like, come on, guys.
Well, it comes out November 21st. We just got the first trailer for it, and there's almost no hype for this movie at all, which probably explains why both Harrington and Jamie Foxx were on some late night shows to promote it early before it actually comes out. But it's gonna bomb.
It is. And it's hard to hype. I mean, the story's been told so many times.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some good actors. It's got Jamie Foxx in it. Obviously pretty good. Jamie Dornan from the, Grey's fucking
50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, I don't know why you know that, but yeah.
I know what people are in, alright? That's all.
It's because Ethan will watch anything that's terrible, so clearly those movies are on the top of his list.
No, I haven't watched them. Okay, I have not watched them, and I will not watch them.
No, he just watches the best of scenes on Porn Doctor or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Pornhub.
Don't expose me like that, Toby.
Yeah, flop. Anyway, next.
Yeah, we got Patient Zero, which is looks like a prequel or like a little sequel to Legend.
Yeah, the original I Am Legend movie, based on the book. The book's a self-contained story, but the I Am Legend movie with Will Smith, the theatrical ending had them, if you remember, going off to find other humans.
With a cure that Will Smith made.
Exactly, and then the sort of director's ending, what it did was instead stuck closer to the book, where it shows you that, they don't flee, or he stays, rather. It shows you that the vampires, quote-unquote, have evolved, and they're getting smarter, and they're not mindless animals. And I just sort of watched the trailer for that, and the first thing that hit me was, this almost feels like a script that was sitting in a drawer for 10 years. It was meant to be a sequel to I Am Legend. And it
was just that. It wasn't supposed to be a sequel to I Am Legend, but it had been sitting there. It was part of a blacklist a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, it just feels like a continuation of that cinematic story with Will Smith, because it's the same sort of concept where you've got these mindless zombies and they're trying to cure them, or whatever they are, vampires, and then there's one that's like this Patient Zero who's evolved. You know, so it looks interesting, and I like the actor's name. The guy, what's his name? He played Lucifer in
Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, he's just got a look about him and a sound to his voice, and all. He plays a bad guy real well, but he plays the sort of mentally fucked up bad guy really well. Like, you know what I mean?
He plays mentally fucked up well in like a few things.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's like not like that at all. I'm sure he's a straight edge, like really nice guy, but he just plays those roles really well, and I think it'll be interesting. Yeah, I'm keen to see more. Put it down as that. Pencil me in.
Next we have the big one, or one of the big ones, the trailer for Glass.
Oh, yes.
And that looks so good.
Oh my god, that just...
So good.
That looked amazing. Everything about that just made me so happy.
I still haven't watched Split.
Oh, do yourself a favour. Oh yeah, watch it.
You're telling me to watch bloody Sicario, go watch fucking Split.
Have you watched Sicario yet?
No.
Then I'm not watching shit until you go and watch Sicario.
Alright, I'll watch Sicario this weekend if you watch Split.
Alright, is that a promise?
I'm not doing anything Sunday, so sure.
Alright, next podcast, we'll trade notes.
Yep, alright.
Alright.
But you should just... So watch Split and then get really, really hyped for Glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mind the first one, Unbreakable. Like, I didn't mind it. I know my comments are heretical to Ethan and others, but it was okay. To me, it wasn't, an amazing
masterpiece.
film.
Well, see, like, I only watched Unbreakable when I heard that Split had a connection to it. That was the only reason why I watched it. And I watched Unbreakable, and I'm like, alright, yeah, it's good. Then I watched Split, and I was like, okay, this is really fucking good. And then seeing how this is going, it just makes me really hyped for this now.
I mean, I'll give it a go. I'm not a huge James McAvoy fan, but I mean, maybe this film will change my opinion. So I'm prepared to sit down with it. If it's on Netflix, I guess.
I don't believe it.
Yes, it's on Netflix. Like Get Out.
All right. You nearly got me. Dear. Yeah, that's an in-house joke.
Yeah. There's a trailer for Overlord came out, which is not Cloverfield 4.
It's not Cloverfield 4.
Paramount and Bad Robot's first R-rated movie.
Yep.
And this actually looks pretty good. I'm excited for this.
You're excited.
I generally watch anything that has J.J. Abrams grubby fingers all over it.
You tend to just scrub the last bit. You just tend to watch anything, full stop, apart from Sicario.
Well, yeah. I watch. Yeah. All right, that's fair. Yeah.
It's only because you were asked to watch it, like told to watch it. It's the only reason you just dig your heels in now. It's like the only reason you know.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. That's 100% the reason why I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. It's like,
Overlord. What one's Overlord? Is that the Nazi one?
Zombie ones. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm not crazy. Then.
So there's a
friend
wild
of mine.
Dude, I was going to say drop the crazy wild rumor, Ethan.
Yeah, a friend of mine has pretty much almost convinced himself that it's a secret Wolfenstein movie.
As in the video game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then like you're gonna go through the whole movie of just it being fine, and then right at the end, one guy's name will be revealed to be Blazkowicz, and there'll be like a Wolfenstein movie in secret the entire time.
If that happens, I will cry.
Well, J.J. Abrams is a big gamer. He's like, so if it is, then this will just completely blow so many people away. It'll be like the biggest news for a decent while. That's out this November as well.
Having said that, I would just happily watch a Wolfenstein movie.
Yeah. Oh, you get it with this maybe.
It looks close enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Even back in the DOS days, like the original Wolf 3D. I mean, there was like zombie soldiers and stuff. So I mean, this works. It's fine.
And next we have a trailer for Titans, which is DC's first live-action TV show based on Teen Titans and those characters. This is taking a very sort of... It seems like the show's going to be R-rated, and it looks very gritty as well.
Yeah, we need Jesse for this one, because he's the DC...
Yeah, we do.
I showed Barney this... I watched the trailer, and then I made Barney watch the trailer, and Barney just started going, what the fuck am I looking at? And I'm like, it'd be so much better. The fact that that's Dick Grayson, there's no way Dick Grayson would ever say fuck Batman. If it was Jason Todd,
then
I'd understand. I'd be like, okay, cool, I get it. And then have Raven looking like a little goth emo girl who doesn't know who her father is, her father's Trigon. It's like, you know this. You've always... What are you doing?
Yeah, to be fair, though, I mean, DC have just announced that they're heading in a new direction with a new comic line that's designed to sort of mirror the Marvel Max in that it's designed for adults. So they're going to be releasing a series of R-rated comics, which is something DC's never done before. And they will be doing Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman storylines with a much more mature angle, like in terms of violence. I know Marvel Max used to have nudity, language, dealt with drugs, racism, sexism, like really mature subject matter and topics. So I just wonder if this is all sort of coming together with DC looking to change their perceived attitude, like the attitude towards them a little bit, maybe.
Maybe, but if they're doing it with Dick Grayson, they just get fucked.
Well, talking about this, we'll just diverge from the trailers for a second with the Titans news. That DC is now doing their own streaming service, which would be an all-in-one app for TV shows, movies, and comics. So all the new, they're working on the Titans live-action series. They're doing a live-action Swamp Thing series that's going to be produced by James Gunn, who's currently doing Aquaman. They're doing adding up pretty much all the DC movies will now be on there. All the old animated DC shows, old Wonder Woman series, they're all coming to the streaming service. I think it's going for about $8 a month or $75 for an annual subscription. So you get access to everything, all the movies, TV shows, and comics.
I'm going to watch Batman forever so much.
Can you imagine reading a comic on your... I suppose, yeah, you log in from your iPad to read the comics. You're not going to really read a comic on your 60-inch screen, are you?
No. So obviously there's like apps for TVs and phones and tablets. So I mean, it's a smart thing to do, rather than it just be based purely for movies to include comics as well as a back catalogue of what DC's done. It'll also include the CW shows as well, I think.
What worries me though is, does DC have enough quality content that non-DC fans are going to pick this up?
No.
Well, no, because we know there's a lot of non-DC fans in the world anyway. So
as a DC fan, no, they won't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about DC haters. I'm talking about the average Joe, the person that doesn't really read comic books and whatever have you. I just don't see there being enough content for $8 a month. If you're a Puritan that's already buying comics and watching all this stuff, I guess. But you know, with Disney doing their thing, it's in terms of competition, you're not only getting all the Marvel stuff, you're getting all the Disney stuff, and now you're getting all the Fox stuff. Like, it's another no-brainer, and I can't see this. I hope for their sake it's the outlay, like in terms of infrastructure, is not big, because if they're going to spend a lot of money doing this, I don't think that they're going to get much of a return.
They're going to get people on Batman because everybody wants to watch Batman. That's the first thing people know. They'll get people if they're interested in Superman. And that's pretty much it. They won't get anybody else who's not familiar with those characters.
Well, and maybe Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman's fairly popular nowadays, especially with the movie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to diss their content. I'm just saying I don't think they have enough content to sort of validate
I get what you mean,
a dedicated streaming service. Like, if it was like DC plus, IDW plus, Dynamite plus, you know, Dark Horse, where all the other different things, like, there may be, but it just... I mean, look, DC's been around a long time. They've got a lot of comics, but unless it's like $8 a month and you have every comic they've ever printed ever. But again,
I think if it's we're not every comic. I'm not sure how far back catalog.
Yeah, but I mean, it's only going to appeal to. I think it'll probably do well in America, where you've got a much more comic-rich population. Like, you know, comics is a much bigger hobby over there than here. But over in, say, Australia, I'm not sure. We don't even know if it's coming to Australia yet, so, you know, that might be a moot point. Yeah.
If they if they put Constantine Season 2, if they make that, I will pay any amount of money, I don't care.
It just says, well, you'll get Constantine Season 2 and Legends of Tomorrow, the new season. There you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
It says here they will offer up to, between 2,000 and 3,000 back catalogue comic books.
That's enough. That's
a lot.
It depends on what that is as well.
Yeah.
Is that old? Is it, the new stuff? Is it, you know, golden era? Who knows?
Moving on, we've got the first trailer and also the Season 2 date announcement for Iron Fist, which is September 7th.
Yep. And
also today it was revealed that the season will only have 10 episodes, not 13.
That's probably a good move.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, because there's, in every season so far, we've often said, you know, you could whittle down 3 to 5 episodes off this, and
except Daredevil, because Daredevil is just the best one, and you can't change anything to do.
I agree. I concur.
Apart from Punisher.
I didn't watch Punisher. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Defenders annoyed me. Defenders annoyed me. So I just went, no, I'm not watching anymore.
And that was the last time we had Dan on the show. It's such a tragedy.
Worth it. I had to be honest. How
can you not watch Punisher?
I don't know. I was watching Defenders, and I just got really sick of the bullshit.
Yeah. That's why you go watch Punisher, because he's not connected to any of that shit, and he just does his own thing.
Yeah, he kills people. I know. He's a good guy.
Yeah, and he just kills everybody. Yeah. Yeah, your coffee my coffee's too cold. Have a Glock.
and then I watched Iron Fist, and I just didn't like what they did with Danny Rand. It just annoyed me.
Yeah,
and I was like, no more.
Yeah, I can see how you're feeling a little disheartened after that. I mean, Ethan still hasn't finished Luke Cage 2.
No.
So
everyone says it's good. I haven't watched that myself.
It's not bad. It's better than the first one. Look, I definitely think there's fatigue out there, and I also think, and even Netflix have sort of admitted that they've slipped in terms of quality. And I know that they're hoping and they're expecting Daredevil 3 to be a return to form. I think the fact though that we've got Danny in his comic costume, and we've also got there was a still that went around sort of showing Danny in his more vigilante getup, with his face covered as well. And this was something that we had all spoken about before, about covering the actor's face, which they've obviously done with a couple of other, like obviously Daredevil as well. So
Charles Cox, his face,
because it allows you to bring in a stuntman. But when you had Flynn with his face uncovered for the whole season, it was obviously a lot harder, especially with that hair too, very iconic. Like putting that wig on would have looked like crap. So now he's got a hoodie and a face mask. It's very easy for them to get a stuntman in and up the choreography significantly, and I hope they do. I really do. We don't see a lot of fighting in this one, apart from that sort of one fight back in Kunlun or whatever it is. But I'm really hoping, because if the fight choreography isn't up to scratch, it will literally kill the show. Like no one's going to come back for season 3.
Can agree.
All right, next we got a trailer for Aquaman. Now, as people know, when you listen to this podcast, I'm not a fan of DC. Well, I'm not the biggest fan. I despise them quite a bit, but Aquaman has me recently excited. Actually, Jesse, me and him get going.
Yeah. Listen, I like James Gunn. I think he's a fantastic director. I think he's got a future. And I've certainly enjoyed some of the DC stuff, Batman v Superman, all the rest of it. This trailer just looked terrible. And I think...
I actually like this.
Yeah, that's cool. But it didn't grab me at all. I think my biggest problem with Aquaman in Justice League was the whole bro dude yeehaw shit. And it's continued on in this one. And look, maybe that's the way the character was always meant to be. I kind of felt Snyder thought it was meant to be a bit more serious, but yeah, look, I will watch this on Netflix in 18 months.
Arthur, and like you said, it is very bro yeehaw, and Arthur Curry has never been that way. But obviously, Jason Momoa will bring that out. So, and they need the movie to sell.
I'm sort of tilting towards actually potentially watching this one at the cinema as well.
I will. I will.
I'm thinking about it. I'll give it another trailer, and then I'll probably fully make up my mind.
Yeah, I'll wait for him release.
I mean, it looks pretty.
Yeah.
When I was watching, I was like, wow, it looks really, really nice. And then some people started talking, and I was just like, shut up.
Moving on to one that does not look good, and that's Shazam. It looks like fucking shit.
Hold up! It looks exactly like it should.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Shazam it looks exactly like it should, what we come to expect from most DC. Shit.
No, the story they're going with is the exact story of Billy getting his powers from Shazam, and having Levi cast as Shazam is perfect, because that dude is just a giant fucking kid, and that is what Shazam is.
Yeah,
I watched that trailer and I was like, fuck, this is cool.
Yeah, you got to come at you can't come at it with a Man of Steel or a Batman Dark Knight mentality. You got to come at this as like Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey kind of thing. It's a comedy. It's a comedy film before it's a superhero film.
I'm coming at this by how I see it, and how I see it is shit currently. I'm going to give it another trailer before I fully make up my mind, but as of right now, I'm not. It's not on my radar at all, not even for a home watch.
Man, when Billy was walking through and he was like Shazam and pew, and he transformed, I lost my mind. I was like, oh my god!
Justice do that. I'm fine.
I lost my mind. I think, nah, Ethan, shut up.
Yeah, that's usually how these debates end.
Yeah, especially with DC. Yeah. I'll give another trailer when they release another trailer. I'll make up my mind then. As of right now, I'm not sold.
And also the fact that there will be no Black Adam. The Rock has confirmed he will not be in this movie either.
He probably still will be.
Yeah,
maybe it's the one film The Rock isn't in this year.
yeah, exactly. It's like who is Dr. Thaddeus is going to be the villain. So yeah,
what's his name? Mark Strong's finally got his another DC movie to try and get some redemption after Sinestro.
Fair. Yeah. We don't speak about Green Lantern ever.
I don't think anyone should speak about DC ever, but here we are.
Hey.
All right, moving on to more DC news. DC EU is officially renamed to Worlds of DC, and they're going to focus less on interconnected stories and within movies and just focus on making decent movies now.
Good. Excellent. Yeah, that's what they needed to do. That's what you and I and Jesse and Lucas have been bitching about for months. That's exactly what needs to happen. Step in the right direction. Good play.
Stop trying to replicate Marvel and just do your own thing and let it grow.
Because when you go back and look at what they were doing when they were doing their own thing and ignoring Marvel, you had things like Dark Knight. And I mean, you know, they
one
were
of the greatest
films.
comic book movies of all time. Yep.
Absolutely.
Now onto one trailer that I'm beyond excited for, and that is Godzilla King of Monsters. This just looks fucking amazing. After seeing first King Kong and then not King Kong, Godzilla, and then Kong Skull Island, I cannot wait for this. This looks so good.
Hard.
You shush, Toby. You shush.
Yeah, I'm with Toby on this. I'm like,
I will just skip past this. I won't fucking no. No.
See what happens. See what happens if you don't humor him. He just gets pissy and doesn't read the news.
No. So what are you excited about for Godzilla King of Monsters?
Giant monsters fighting on screen.
Are they gonna have what's his Mothra?
Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah. They're all in it.
Fucking go watch Voltron or something.
Spoiler. Godzilla kills them all. Boom, done.
Well, it's like I was talking to one of my friends about this, and it kind of seems stupid.
So you know this is a lie already because Ethan doesn't have friends.
Yeah.
Well,
mic drop.
I guess I'll just leave the news to someone else.
In other news,
Ethan got pissy and walked off.
As I was discussing with someone, all right, it seems strange to have this one as a follow-up. To me, it should be you go Godzilla and then have him fight King Kong. Because if you go Godzilla and then you have Godzilla King of Monsters where he's fighting another 3 giant monsters, it kind of seems like it ramps up. And then when it hits him versus King Kong, it just sort of just ramps down to be somewhat anticlimactic to the scale of this film. So to me, it makes sense to have Kong as the second one, and then do this one after.
Did you like Rampage?
I never saw it. Don't want to watch it.
But it's big things belting each other.
They're not as big as this. He's like, what, 4 times the size of a gorilla?
They have a giant wolf. Giant wolf.
Yeah, but it's got
that
the rock.
flies.
Like, it's gonna yell and fucking go woohoo or some shit like that.
Kevin Hart's not in it. Kevin Hart's not in it.
Well, you're just going to have Billy Bobby Brown going woohoo.
I have rock fatigue at the moment, so I'm not interested in watching Rampage for a while.
Well, I have Billy fatigue, so... or Miller.
Alright, moving on, we had... officially, Nicolas Cage has been announced to being in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse as Spider-Man Noir. John Mulaney as Spider-Ham. And Kimiko Glenn as Penny Parker.
I'm not even mad. I'm just so happy.
Well, that's
the first I've heard of that, and that makes me so happy.
Yeah, it was kind of like I sent it to Lucas, and he was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's kind of what everyone's saying about Nicolas Cage being there." But
it's noir though. Nicolas Cage can pull off the perfect noir, like old school, really depressed, down on himself. Uncle Ben got killed by Vulture. Like, oh, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, but then he'll do his weird acting thing where he just screams and pulls like funny faces or something.
You won't see it though. You won't see it because it's voice acting.
No, they might do like his face and like he'll just sit there like screaming like that.
He takes off his mask.
Yeah, he takes off his mask and it's just him in that screaming scene from like Kick-Ass 1 where he's caught on fire and he's just screaming. God.
I want that so bad. Hellboy, when his face first starts peeling off, he's like, ah!
Yeah.
That's what happened. Yeah. Oh,
Do you have one of those Nicolas Cage pillow slips, Dan?
so I want one now. Is there one?
Yeah, you can get you can get a whole bed set with Nick Cage's face on it.
Oh man, my girlfriend's gonna be so mad when she comes over there. Baby, kiss me. Nick Cage is watching exactly.
Just roll her in the middle of the night, look at your pillow, and it's just his face staring at you.
I'm gonna start screaming at her mid-sleep.
Next, we got the Joker origin movie that's produced by Martin Scorsese, starring Joaquin Phoenix, as for release date next year, October 4th next year.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
It's the origin, isn't it? Which origin? Yeah. Do we know which one they're going with?
I think they're going Killing Joke origin.
Okay, cool.
It's what it seems like.
Apparently, they're running two simultaneously. That's what I heard. They're running this one and like Suicide Squad, Jared Leto one simultaneously.
Yeah.
So is that opening up multiverse for DC?
I'm not sure. I think this is just like how they say they're doing Worlds of DC, where they're just gonna make DC movies and not worry about them being connected at all.
Yeah.
I don't think the Jared Leto one's actually an origin film. I think it's just a Joker solo film.
Yay.
But it's got apparently Robert De Niro's up for a role in the movie, which is no surprise with Martin Scorsese attached to it. And Zazie Beetz, who played Domino in Deadpool 2, she's in talks for a role in the movie as well. No one knows who, but she's just in talks for it.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, if they're doing a Killing Joke origin, Joaquin Phoenix should be okay. He can be crazy and hilarious at the same time.
Next, we have Annabelle 3 has officially been announced. And brief plot story details for it is that it's set shortly before Conjuring. It's kind of going to be like a night at the museum type thing where the Annabelle doll brings other artifacts to life.
That's fucking stupid.
Get fucked now.
I can just see it now. It's going to be like Annabelle 4. Annabelle and Chucky get married and have children.
They are rebooting Chucky.
I'm fine with it. They can reboot Chucky all they want. But the fact is they didn't follow the, I'm using quotation marks, the original story of Annabelle from the Warrens.
Yeah, it's shit. It's a cash cow. It's shit. Next.
Yeah.
Next we have Comcast has completely dropped out of the bidding war for Fox. So it's free for Disney to fully take over. Further to that, the Fox shareholders have voted to approve the $71.3 billion merger.
Well, and Disney shareholders as well.
Yep.
So it's both sides have shaken hands. So it's done. It's a done deal because it's pre-approved in court, and apparently the expected fallout is 5,000 to 10,000 jobs lost.
And X-Men and Fantastic Four are coming home, and that's all we care about.
Yep.
Fuck those 10,000 people that are now unemployed.
I want X-Men.
Yeah.
X-Men vs Avengers needs to happen. I want Jackman back, and I want him killing people.
That's not gonna happen.
I know it's not, but I want it.
You're not going to see anything in Phase 4 at all.
No,
I don't think.
no.
You might get a couple of.
They said that the merger and everything will be pretty much finalized by early April next year, which means it might just be in time to get an after-credit stinger for Fantastic Four or X-Men with Avengers 4.
No, I want Silver Surfer.
Well, no, I just mean anything from those franchises. It might be just might just be enough time to get a teaser.
That could be.
I wouldn't hold my breath. I wonder if Feige got that phone call though, because he was on Twitter saying he was literally waiting for a phone call. So I'm sure he's in the drawing board writing things out. I probably wouldn't be surprised I wouldn't expect any teasers until the end of Phase 4, like maybe something at the end of Guardians 3 or.
Yeah. They're not going to be announcing Phase 4 until Comic-Con next year. So that's July next year. And so that gives us 2 months after the merger.
Yeah, all I'm saying is I'm sure Phase 4 has already been well planned out. And
easily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get anything too meaty in Phase 4. I said you might get a post-credits at best. Like, you might see Galactus or something, and that's about all you're going to get.
And apparently they're cancelling all the Fox X-Men shows on TV as well.
Yeah, well, I guess Ethan was going to touch on that because there was some back and forth on.
Oh no, that was the New Mutants and Dark Phoenix were rumored to be cancelled, but things will come out to say they believe that they're not cancelled.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where the dust settles anyway.
Yeah. And lastly for news, Ryan Reynolds has signed up to be in a movie called Stoned Alone.
Love it.
To produce, which is in development at Fox.
Have you guys read the synopsis of it though?
No, I haven't.
Okay, sorry.
I can see it now. Yeah. Stoned Alone of the hallowed comedy classic. It centers around a 20-something weed-growing loser who misses the plane for his holiday ski trip. He makes the best of things by getting high. Paranoia sets in. He believes he hears someone break into his house. Turns out thieves have broken in. Fully stoned and fueled by paranoia, he tries to thwart the thieves and defend his castle.
Yep, so Kevin gets left at home again 28 years later and has to fight more criminals. That's literally the plot of the movie.
So it's Home Alone 4.
Okay, he's just producing it. I thought Ryan Reynolds was starring, but he's just producing.
Oh no, I want him in that!
Yeah, no, he's just producing.
Well, then we'll have to go and get Macaulay Culkin then.
I'm fine with do it.
I was gonna put up the Christmas tree, but then I got high. Da 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 da. No? Okay.
I'm happy, but I want that.
Cool. All right, so that's all the news.
Yep.
Okay. Sweet. Cool.
Good job, man. I'm so proud.
He does a good job. He gets a little pissy, but he does a good job.
I mean, his views on DC are very skewed and angered me very much, but it's okay.
I have a fair reason. I think the main thing is just because I just love Marvel so much, it's hard for me to like accept there being another one.
Sorry, Ethan was abused by DC when he was a younger man, and we don't like to talk about it. It's a sensitive topic.
So what? He was like Bruce Wayne just watching his parents die by DC.
Yeah, it's something.
I was subjected to watching Batman and Robin about 3 times every week, and that kind of scarred me for life.
Was it with Schwarzenegger saying, "Chill,
yeah,
chill, everybody, please"? Yeah. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Yeah, that scarred me from a very young age.
Oh boy, that scars anybody at any age. All right. Well, thank you for the news. Let's take a beat and realign and point our lasers at the new Hulu series Castle Rock with producer J.J. Abrams and also producer Stephen King. There's about 16 producers, which is not unusual for a TV series, but yeah, the first 3 episodes have been released by Hulu, and then it's going to go weekly after that. So I've managed to sit down and watch all 3. I know you gents have seen at least 1 or 2.
Yeah, I'm halfway through 3.
Right. So we're not going to do spoilers because it's obviously the season's not complete and it's way too soon. And obviously, I think there's going to be a lot of people who haven't seen it and all they want to know is it good and should we be watching it? What were your thoughts, Dan, so far?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It takes a bit from the book. It takes some from it. It takes some chops from the book, as most TV shows do. I'm actually very happy with it, and there's a little bit of twists that I know are coming, and I'm pretty excited.
What book?
Like the actual book.
There's no book.
Like it's a combination of all the books from like Stephen King.
Yeah, I know that's part. Yeah, there's no definitive.
No, there's no definitive book. No, because I was actually having this conversation with my dad the other day, and he was like, "Oh, you should read these books because they made a TV show of it." And I was like, "What TV shows?" And he was like, "Castle Rock." I'm like, "Well, I'm going to watch the show," and then it turned out I've read some of the books already.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, there's no spoiler. There is some nods I've seen already to the stories. Needful Things, Cujo, and there's a couple of other references in there if you keep your eyes over. Obviously, Shawshank Redemption.
Yep.
Yes. Oh,
and in the trailer, we sort of also see nods to It and a few other things.
Well, even in the intro to the show, you see a page of It on there as well.
Yeah, well, you see several pages.
Are we talking actors who are in the?
Well, there's that too. Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of actors that have appeared in previous film adaptations of King's work.
Yeah, obviously the big one from last year as well, which is pretty good.
Yeah, and also the
Fake from what was it? Was it Firestar? No, Carrie. She was in the original Carrie movie.
Yeah. So you got Sissy Spacek. You've got obviously Bill Skarsgård. Scott Glenn's in there. I don't think he's been in King thing before, but
no, he hasn't. But he plays a character as.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts before I sort of ramble a little bit, Ethan?
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying sort of like trying to spot out all the little references to King's works throughout. just
Yeah.
listening and looking and.
Yeah,
No,
it's
I'm enjoying it.
definitely-
It's a little
definitely
slow.
an
I
Easter
find it's a little
egg.
slow to start up with, but it's obviously ramping up a bit more.
Yeah, it's definitely an Easter egg hunt. I like the fact that you can sort of reverse pause and you go, oh, cool, I spotted that. You know, you could definitely do that with this show. For my thoughts, there seems to be a bit of a slow build. And in some ways it feels a bit like, I don't know if you watched The Leftovers, which also had Scott Glenn in it. That was one of those sort of shows where it was a little slow to build and you were kind of watching it going, what the hell's going on? And you never sort of quite knew. I'm cool with a slow build. I know it's only 10 episodes this season. I'm hoping, though, we get some payoff. That's my biggest fear with this, is if you're going to ask all these questions and throw all this what the hell's going on out there, but you don't answer it, that's when I find, like they did that with Lost, they kind of tried to tease you on and tease you on and tease you on, and because it never paid dividends, it started to falter and people stopped watching, you know what I mean?
Do not talk shit about Lost.
Oh,
No, I'm not.
I
but
stopped watching.
But a lot of people stopped watching because they just never, instead of giving you payoff, they just asked more questions. I'm just worried about that. But that aside, I thought it's almost been filmed like more of a movie than a sort of a current gen TV show. Like there's no sort of handy cam shit. Like if you actually go back and watch it, there's some really good camera angles. The color filters and control, the lighting, all that sort of stuff it's to me it came across more like a movie, just the way they presented it, which I thought was really nice. Because I'll walk out in the lounge room and the girls will be watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Sure, it's a cool show, but if you actually step back and look at the camera work in that thing, it's done by some like 10-year-old with Parkinson's. It's the most horrible thing to watch.
That ruined Brooklyn for me.
Once you're aware that they're zooming in and out with like
it's
this
supposed to sort of
$100,
be like a documentary cruise filming. It was kind of like that with Parks and Recreation.
I can't watch
The
it.
Office.
I literally get motion sickness watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Literally. So this is sort of filmed a lot more like a movie, which I liked. The acting is by and large pretty damn good. But yeah, I'm just hoping we get payoff. So far, I got to say though, it's I know it's sort of stated it's a horror, and I didn't sort of, there was like I think one jump scare. There's nothing too horror yet, but I mean a good horror film tends to build before it sort of dumps things on you anyway. So, but I hope when the scares come, they're not. I don't want to see jump scares, and I don't want to see just gratuitous gore. I love that sort of psychological horror, and I think for the most part, a lot of King's work is that way. So,
well, the creator of the show, Sam Shaw's recently spoken out, and he says that it's going to be an anthology series. If it warrants a second season or not, they're not sure if it's enough for a second season yet. But he says our plan was always to approach each season as an unwritten Stephen King novel. He continued to say he's a genre unto himself, and there are 7 or 8 well-defined subgenres. We've always loved these stories dealing with crime and punishment in prisons, and Stephen King sort of grappling with real-world monsters. What we do with them and where we put them, how we treat them, and whether that makes us a monster. This season is written very much in the shadow of Shawshank and the Green Mile, and stories dealing with incarceration. But then there are great banging monster stories out there that are cosmic stories about good and evil.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I'm not going to delve into spoilers, but there's definitely some not normal stuff happening already in the first 3 episodes, like in terms of like, well, I don't want to say, but
it's so hard not to say, isn't it? It's like
I mean, Shawshank Redemption had a mild supernatural theme. Obviously, that's the prisoner had an ability, so there's obviously that level of supernatural in this already, so that's cool. But yeah, look, if you can get a hold of it, watch it. It's good. I'm tempted not to watch the rest and then just sort of try and binge watch the whole thing at one lot, because once I started with episode 1, I just couldn't stop. Like I just had to keep watching. It definitely grabs you, so it's gonna suck having to wait week after week.
I refuse. It's not happening. I refuse to do that. I'm gonna binge watch it.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So far so good. Keep an eye out for it. Watch it if you can. Right. Well, let's move on to the topic of discussion for this fortnight, and it's a big one. It's something that a lot of people are talking about, and that is Mr. James Gunn. And we're going to sort of cover all the different elements, but the short version is that Mr. Gunn had made some tweets sort of 8 to 10 years ago with a particular twisted sense of humor that a lot of people can appreciate, but unfortunately a lot of people can also take the wrong way. These have been brought to light a few times and I'm not sure why
he's apologized for it previously, but I guess it's just this day and age with its political correctness.
Yeah, and I don't know why he didn't delete them sooner, but anyway, it was brought back into the light, and Disney, with their very much sort of zero tolerance attitude, immediately released him, and that means he's not attached to Guardians of the Galaxy 3 any longer, or any other Disney project. He had just handed in his first draft of the script too. He took to Twitter, he officially apologised, and he made a few sort of basic statements and then let it be. And then since then, a lot of people have been protesting the fact. There's a change.org that's up to about, it's nearing 400,000 signatures.
Yeah.
You've also got pretty much all the main cast from Guardians of the Galaxy wrote an open letter. There's been some personal tweets, so it's pretty big, because obviously Gunn played such an important part in the Marvel universe.
Not only that, it also sounds like that from interviews he's done. He was kind of working with Kevin Feige to sort of set up the cosmic universe.
Yes.
Like he was a big part of that.
Yeah. So, of course, a lot of people want him to be rehired. Disney have gone, I'm not going to say unusually, but they have gone quiet, and they haven't said anything further yet. You know, obviously, they were very quick to react when the news broke. I guess they've got to consider, they need to save face, how much damage would be done if they did rehire him. Like, there's obviously a lot to consider. But yeah, let's sort of break it down to some of the more detailed points then. I know you've got a lot of notes, Ethan, so what have you got?
Oh, kind of, yeah, as we said, I think it was the morning of the first Comic-Con. It came out. I sort of woke up and saw that he had been fired, and I thought, okay, this is going to be a joke.
Fake
and I
news,
searched it up more. Yeah. I searched it up more, and then I found out that no, it was not a joke. And it's all because he, like a lot of celebrities these days, a lot of them are outspoken about America's current political climate. And he was one of those, and a lot of people disagreed with him. And because of this, they went through his tweets and found some jokes that he had made years ago that, some people just, their way of humor is shock humor, and that's probably what his was at that time. There are a lot of comedians that have said a lot worse things than what he has up on stage and at live shows, and there's less of an uproar over it. But I guess it's because the kind of company that Disney is, and they want to be family friendly, that is reason why they were so quick to just fire him on the spot, probably without giving a lot of it too much thought. Since that happened, as Toby said, a lot of celebrities have talked about it. His brother Sean Gunn, who is a character in Guardians of the Galaxy and was going to be a main character in number 3, was uncertain if he was going to be in number 3 following this. Batista was very outspoken and upset about it. Again, a lot of people were speculating that he may not be a part of it, but it all depends on the contracts that all the actors signed on to.
Yeah, I mean, breaking a contract this day and age is going to cost you anywhere from a couple of million up to sort of, and a big blockbuster Disney film like this, it would be like 50-60 million is what Disney would probably sue you for. You would probably have to declare bankruptcy, and it would end you. I'm not sure any of the actors rather they're all sort of in their prime at the moment. I mean, it would be different if you were, say, an 80-year-old actor who's looking to bow out anyway. You might go out in style kind of thing, but I would be more than surprised if any one of them was to break contract.
Yeah, but also another thing that I can't remember the exact tweet, but it was something that James Gunn tweeted out about Roseanne Barr, because she was recently fired after something she had said from the news show and stuff like that. And he said just because Roseanne Barr is like a Trump supporter and all this sort of thing doesn't mean ABC should continue funding her show. And people were like, well, that can kind of go the same thing for you with Guardians of the Galaxy. Which in turn, that is true. Just because you have one view doesn't mean someone has to respect it. But I guess it's just...
Yeah, but I mean, Gunn wasn't fired for his political point of view. Again, it was these tweets that are nearly 10 years old.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Roseanne Barr wasn't fired for something she said 10 years ago. And,
something current.
In Gunn's defense, the world has changed. The things that you could say in the 80s, for instance, and do in the 80s, there's no way you could get away with them today.
Oh, hell no.
There's just not a chance in hell. And 10 years ago, even still, the political climate was different. social climate was different, and the things that we may have said back then, we probably wouldn't say today. We're still a lot more conscious and aware now. So I think it's a bit different. If he'd been fired for present day statements, that would be, then I would say, yeah, you can compare that to Roseanne. Absolutely.
But yeah, and another thing that people have pointed out is the fact that they're doing this from his past. Now, they were just jokes. He never did any of it, and he said this thing like, these were just jokes. I didn't live out anything that I said. They were just jokes purely to shock people. Now, you've got people bringing up the fact that Robert Downey Jr. was arrested multiple times for drugs, thrown in jail, and all that sort of stuff, and yet here he is as Marvel's most leading man, making millions. Marvel's banked on Robert Downey Jr. and how much people love him as the role of Iron Man, and they're not judging him on his past, yet here they are on James Gunn, quick to judge on his past. Well, for stuff that James Gunn joked about, whereas Robert Downey Jr. actually did stuff. Now, I'm not saying Robert Downey Jr. at all. I'm just saying that people are comparing the two of those sorts of things with how Marvel's dealing with it.
So I reckon, for me personally, if it was me, there has to be like a statute of limitations on what people say. Like Toby said, it's different than what it was 10 years ago. Like, humor's changed, the way people think has changed, everything is very PC these days. And to just bring it out of the blue and be like, oh, you said this 10 years ago, fuck you, you monster. It's just ridiculous. And you're right, like, yeah.
Yeah, and they should have expected they knew that James Gunn had this sort of like, a bit warped and twisted humor considering what he's done in the past. He did a show called PG Porn, a web series. It had Nathan Fillion in it. He had a bunch of porn stars in the show, and it was just porn without the porn, and they just had the story in it. And he did that. He did Slither. He did Super. All of those have twisted sensitive humors, and they're all twisted in their own way. He did promotions for the game Lollipop Chainsaw, which was, again, that was all pervy and twisted and stuff like that. And, you'd think Marvel would have done their background search on. They probably did. As I said, these tweets came out again in 2012, which I think was around the time he was filming the first Guardians of the Galaxy, and he apologized for them then again. So why is it now that I think it's just they're under pressure a lot from different companies and just how everything is nowadays, that's why they had to fire him now.
It's not just that.
Which is stupid. They shouldn't have.
There's so many things now these days that you have the Me Too movement, which is massive. Yep. You have, obviously, they said Roseanne Barr's thing, what happened with her. A lot of Americans are very vocal on their support of Trump as well. So it's just like, if you attack their president, they're going to come after you. If you say something that nobody agrees with, another bunch of people are going to come after you. It's just you can't win these days.
No, you can't.
But then it makes you have to be really careful. It's always been said, you have to be really careful what you say on the internet, because it doesn't matter who you are. Some motherfucker is sitting there taking screenshots of it, going, "I'm gonna use this against you one day." Doesn't matter who you are, and that's why I think
the smart play for Disney here really is to hire Kanye West to do Guardians 3.
No, it's Taika Waititi.
I was being facetious.
No.
I'm trying to think who's got the most ridiculous online presence with the
Kanye Genius is a lyrical. He's a genius.
Isn't he going to run for president or something in 2020?
Maybe. Trump. If you believe the guys from a time travel, Trump's winning back to back.
Right. Okay.
So Kanye's got nothing. But sorry, backtracking a little bit to the actors that are making their voices heard. Even Bobcat Goldthwait, who
he's a friend of James Gunn
from Police Academy. And all that. Yeah, he did a voice for one of their animes, one of the animated movies, and then he had his voice in their ride at Disney Park. He's like, take it off.
He's like, I've done some. He's like, I've said and done some bad shit in my past, and if you're gonna take James Gunn down for some earlier tweets, then you can get rid of my voice from your park.
Yep.
But the problem is, haven't we all?
Yeah, I'm sure
hasn't everybody, and they're just picking on him.
The trouble is, if you're the director of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, you're held to a much higher. You're a lot more accountable. Yeah. Than
you are in the public eye.
Toby and Ethan and Dan of the movie podcast, like, you know what I mean? Like,
but then again, hold up. With Disney doing this, it also people can do this to, let's say, another director or another actor, and Disney will then feel the pressure to follow suit until they have no one left. So if Disney is smart, they'll rehire James Gunn and sort of, pretty much be like, okay, we don't really give a fuck about what you say or what you're trying to show us about this person. We know what they're like now. they're not like they're not how they were in the past.
At the end of the day, it's not going to hurt Disney at all. The movie is going to sell like wildfire. Doesn't matter if James Gunn has said those things. They rehire him. They're like, "Oh, we're not going to see your movie." Boycott the movie. It's still going to make millions and millions of dollars. They don't care.
No, but I feel like Disney was just a bit under pressure and was just swift.
Well, I think it was a bit knee-jerk, and I think they should have taken some time to think about what.
They should have. Definitely.
Because if they do decide to go back on there, they are gonna look foolish, and they are copping a lot of pressure at the moment. There's a lot of people out there who aren't happy.
You've got the entire cast of Guardians with their letter. Literally every single member of the main cast, I think some of the supporting cast, signed that letter that we love James Gunn, we support him. Who he was back then doesn't matter. He's a great person, great human being. Then you got the 400,000 people signing this petition online. You've got actors coming out of nowhere supporting him. They'll have to rehire him eventually.
You'd think, but I mean, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
If they stand their ground and go really stubborn.
Well, see, like Chris Pratt tweeted the thing out, and he said, "Although I don't support James Gunn's inappropriate jokes from years ago, he's a good man, and I personally love to see him reinstated as director." And even in the letter that they wrote, they said that he's not that kind of person he was back then. His humor, who he is all changed since those sorts of days. And every day on set with him was was great.
Yeah. Exactly. And the fact that Chris Pratt is a very devout Christian saying this, like if a man of pure belief in God can just be like, it's okay, get over it.
Yeah. So, I mean, this story seems to be building and building, and every time I log onto the internet, there's half a dozen new stories. So it's far from over, and
definitely far from over.
But hopefully,
there hasn't been a word out of James Gunn since. Has he made his apology?
His account's gone quiet. As I said, Disney's gone quiet. Hopefully, though, next fortnight we'll have some significant update, one way or the other. Whether it's a case of Disney reinforces their decision and says nope, it's sticking, or he gets hired. I look personally, I would like to see the man reinstated and obviously continue with the Marvel universe, but I would hate to see. I would hate to see a Justice League situation, where
exactly.
Where they bring in another director and it just doesn't have the same soul.
Well, speaking of our director, when the news broke, I was messaging Lucas about it. I said to him, I was like, "Oh, Taika Waititi for Guardians of the Galaxy 3." I said that to him, and then a couple hours later, everyone was reporting "Oh, who should take over from James Gunn? Should it be Taika Waititi?" And I'm like, "Wow, the humor's similar." Somewhat.
Yeah, he's probably the logical choice.
Yeah. The safest choice for it anyway. Whether or not he would go after James Gunn turned in the draft or not.
I think he would.
Just have to wait and see. But at least, the silver lining here is, Gunn did hand in that first draft. So his sort of story and ideas is there in one form or another. Because obviously being fired now, if he hadn't have handed that in, he would have been under no obligation at all to finish the job.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm hoping he gets back in. I feel like he was wrongly fired for jokes he made in the past.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of where you sort of stand on the political spectrum, whether you're pro, for, and whatever have you, I think the takeaway here is he wasn't fired for anything he said recently. As a political point of view, he was fired for something that he had said 10 years ago, and that's where the beef, I think. Anyway, that pretty much wraps us up for this fortnight. I believe Jesse will be back with us next fortnight. I have it's probably here's my bad decision. I said to him, you can pick the topic of choice, no questions asked, we won't debate it. So I have no idea. I honestly don't know what he's bringing to the table. I don't even want to know until we start the podcast.
I can tell you what he's bringing to the table. How amazing is DC?
Well,
I'll be there, guys. I'll listen.
Dan can take over. I'll jump out for that one.
No. We need to have that showdown. This is Balboa versus whatever in the ring. We need
Apollo Creed.
Yeah, this is Creed and Balboa in the ring. I want to watch this. So, thank you very much to Dan from DZ3 for joining us for this
all right, mate.
podcast.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Thank you very much for inviting me on and letting me battle with Ethan slightly on DC topics.
Everyone battles with Ethan. Yeah,
I generally try not to include any DC news, but when there's something there, I have to do it.
Yeah, he's a keyboard.
That's fair.
He's only strong from behind the screen. You should see him in real life. All right, well,
throw my weight around. All right.
We haven't sung our way out in a little while, and being that we've got a new voice here, we should probably we should sing our way out. So, take us away down.